My clap was so quiet.
I didn't know you could get sort of different rates of volume with various venereal diseases.
Well, you know, I like to impress.
It's not really impressive.
Yeah, I don't know if it is. Yeah, I'm really thinking that that's not impressive, is it?
You've conned yourself there.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Well, that's been the Co-Pilots podcast this week.
And that was the highlight, and they never recorded again.
So, doing a bit of funny crime shows that are based in London.
I realise I'm on the wrong webpage. I'm looking at Spooks rather than Hustle.
Fucking close enough.
Well, we went
the BBC. It's in London.
We were just discussing the fact that we thought that, well, you thought that various people who turn up in the shows we're discussing this week also turn up in Spooks, and then it turns out they're completely different people.
One from each has turned up in Spooks, at least.
Surely most British actors did Spooks at some point.
A lot of British actors have been in Spooks.
A lot of now recognisable.
Yeah.
There we go, I'm on the right page. There we go.
Oh yeah, Richard Armitage. He did Spooks. No one's heard of him, it's fine.
No, he only was, the Red Dragon and foreign.
So hearing the words Red Dragon just reminded me of when we were watching Hannibal at yours. Just walking around just going, Red Dragon.
It then still took me a good long time to finish it, but I maintain it's probably the best ending to a TV show that I've seen.
Yeah, although today I have watched 2 finales of TV shows. I watched the end of How I Met Your Mother, admittedly again, and finally finished Forever, Once Upon a Time.
Oh, is that it? Is it done now?
Yeah.
Oh, it's quite sad when something ends like that, isn't it? But I guess,
Yeah, no, Once Upon a Time, I feel like, should have ended at 6. 7, the season 7's alright, but it doesn't have Emma in it anymore at the end of after season 6.
I don't know who Emma is.
She's like the main character.
Oh.
So, yeah.
So how does that work?
It just continues.
Fair enough.
It's fine. Everyone showed up for the finale. But, yeah.
What happens at the end? I like to imagine that at the end, someone, they're all standing, they're all gathered in a church or a cemetery or somewhere, town hall.
Pretty
whatever.
much.
And then I like to think that they all look up at the sky as they realise, oh, our story's come to an end. And then as they look up, they just see the second half of a book folding back in, and they all just get completely smushed by a big hand closing a book.
No.
Oh.
It ends with, like, someone says, everyone finally got their happy endings, and someone just goes, I don't like to think of it as a happy ending. It's a happy beginning.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, please don't make any more. But, yeah. So, yeah, the end really sort of, I feel like, kind of shat on the entirety of the TV show. Because we're like, no, that's how fairy tales end. Happily ever afters.
I guess, yeah.
You fucking heathens.
You can't really argue with that, can you? Although, I mean, the original Grimm's fairy tales didn't. A lot of them ended with sort of, child death.
Yeah, but,
Or just plain death. Or, like, disembowelment. Anyway, so what we're talking... I realise we've gone on for nearly 5 minutes and we've not spoken about what we're actually going to be talking about.
No, we vaguely alluded to crime dramas that have had people from Spooks in.
But we got no further than that.
So, shall we start with Spotless?
Okay.
It's a show that's based in London and is filmed in many locations in London, including, weirdly, the office that I work in.
Which one of it? Because you mentioned this before. Was it the one where
the
dude
suicide
jumps up? Yeah, I was going to say. I imagine it was that one.
Which
That was
really
the
got me
most
thinking that
You could do it.
Like it would be a good place because it has one of those like big sort of voids in the middle, and you're like, yeah, no, I could totally jump that.
It's worrying that this has occurred to you at some point. Are you alright? Do you want the number of Samaritans?
No, literally, just after I watched this episode, I was thinking about it, and I was like, totally fucking good.
Although I guess the prerequisite is just a ledge or somewhere accessible, and then just a big void.
Yeah. The weird thing is, when there was like the first shot of it came on, I was like, I recognise that place.
Did you not twig straight away?
No. Just do not spend enough time there.
That's
But
so
I was like,
weird.
and I was looking at it, and I was like, it wasn't until they showed like, there was like the lifts, and I was like, wait a minute, I've been in those lifts. And I was like, then I was looking up, and I was like, lots of things are filmed there. Oh, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I missed maybe like 5 minutes of the show because I was looking up, trying to figure out to make sure it was the right building.
So have you since been into work and asked people so like, have you ever been here for filming? Do you know anyone that's seen anything get filmed?
No.
Oh, well, I've got to be honest.
A lot of people know that stuff has been filmed there, but I guess because most of it's probably like weekend filming or just in the lobby.
Yeah, I suppose.
And actually, no, on the 10th floor terrace as well. There's a scene much later in the show where she's outside smoking, and I was just like, that's my fucking office.
That's the same building.
Yeah.
The cheeky swines. Because obviously you're led to believe it's somewhere completely different. But I tell you what, when she's having that glass of red wine, that cigarette, I was a bit like, yeah, that looks nice.
Oh, it's a good view. I've got a picture from somewhere else up there that I will send to you because it's like, if you walk to the corner, it's like you can see St. Paul's.
I sort of meant the wine and the cigarette, but sure, the view's nice.
Oh. Sometimes in the summer you can get the wine.
Anyway, so Spotless is about.
Yeah.
Would you like me to just quickly run through? I've watched it far more recently than you have.
Well, it's just a bloke cleaning shit up, isn't it? That's what he does.
I mean, I think it's a bit more in depth, but yeah, largely he's a crime scene cleaner, and he's hired by. It's the police, isn't it? He doesn't work for the police, but his company works with the police, and like, when they have a crime scene that needs clearing up, in they come with their Henry Hoovers and rubber gloves, marigolds, and scrubbing up.
I imagine a fuck ton of bleach.
You gotta have a lot of bleach, haven't you, for that sort of work?
I don't really understand how you clean up crime scenes. I'm guessing just bleach it.
I mean, you're sort of better at creating the mess in those situations rather than cleaning. So
I mean, it's a lot easier, isn't it?
So this guy is a French guy who's come over to London, and he's got 2 kids, and he lives with his wife. And at the start of the show,
I did actually forget about the whole opening, like
when he's French and he sees it turns out it's not him, it's his brother that sees it. At this point, it's unclear as to whether he is witness to a rape or just some particularly vigorous sex. But then you see that guy get an axe in the back of his head, so I'm going to assume it's rape.
Yeah, or like, because I don't know which brother it is that does the killing or is maybe going to be killed, but then there's the axe, and then they're like, just roll it into the river.
See, I seem to remember that I thought the woman had followed them out, but no, it makes sense that it's his brother. But anyway,
I'm sort of like half assuming that it's the cleanup guy who was maybe in danger, and the other brother saved him. I think. I don't know.
Swung by a slight young man. Was he who I thought was a lady in the first? Yes. Okay. Basically, yeah. No, it's the younger brother. So it's Jean, who is the cleaner guy, and then his brother, I'm gonna pronounce it in the French with the French pronunciation. Martin. He's the one that he witnesses it. Anyway, so Jean has got a family set up. He's got 2 kids and a wife, and he appears to be talking to his therapist. It becomes as soon as she asks the question, "Why do you have a mistress?" I was like, "It's you, isn't it? You're not a therapist."
I think at that point I was still looking up.
Oh right, you're still
Whether or
looking at
not-
your office.
Yeah, just like, is this the same fucking building?
Um,
I thought it was weird that she was just like, "Have you seen any dead people today?" And I was like,
huh?
well, would
I mean,
he? Because
possibly.
he just cleans up the mess they leave behind.
I imagine he probably comes across them.
Yeah. Well, he did once see at least one dead person, and then later in the show another, and then another and another. Lots of dead people in this show.
So he's muddling along. The company's suddenly not doing so well. I think the police have cancelled the contract with them, haven't they? So then he gets home, and his brother has appeared from France to his London home, where he says, "Oh, I drove here. I need to stay, if that's all right." So he reluctantly says, "Yeah, okay, you can stay here." And then at 3 o'clock the next morning, his brother's
trying to
dragging a freezer down the street. At that point, I didn't know this was like a dark comedy. So suddenly I was faced with this massive gear change. He wonders, it's all been quite dark so far. You've seen like a child murder someone, and he cleans up the viscera of crime scenes and stuff, and then there's a suicide which is beautifully shot, and it's transposed with the shot of this lily with a droplet, and this has really stuck with me, like a rivulet of blood running down it, and it's stunning as this guy's jumping off the office tower. And then all of a sudden his brother's just like, "Oh yeah, I've got a freezer that needs to move in." He's like, "Why is that?" "There's a dead body in it." So that bit when they're just walking it down the street, I was pissing myself laughing at that.
Yeah, it's weird because like, I read up about the shows when we're putting the list together, and like it said sort of like, "Oh yeah, no, it's kind of like a crimey comedy thing," and I was like, at that point, like 10-15 minutes in, just like,
I'm sorry, there's a car around going off by me. Go on.
And I was just sat there watching it like, this isn't very funny.
But then it's, as soon as his brother shows up, it's like, right, comedy. And he is so funny. Like I put, what was it? As oh, that's it. He goes, you can't bring this freezer into the house, and he just goes, "Well, we're halfway there." He's like, "It's not a matter of distance." That slayed me, that line. I really loved it. And the other line that was funny is when they take the body of the girl out of the freezer, and he's like, "Oh yeah, she's a drugs mule. She's got like 50 bags of heroin in her." And he, I can't remember how he finds out, but he said, "Oh no, you fucked her, didn't you?" And he goes, "Yeah, of course I did." And then really quick, he's like, "When she was alive?"
Yeah, it's just making that clarification that just like. But when the show first came on, it had like, the warnings that you get on a TV show, and one of them was like necrophilia, and I was like, the fuck kind of show is this? I think it was.
I mean, he clarifies there hasn't been.
I think maybe it's just like a warning of the like discussion of it.
Yeah, well, I suppose like as a theme it exists.
Would it be unprofessional if we to watch just the warning like right now?
I mean, sort of. I say that worrying about professionalism as I open another beer. Do what you like. It's your podcast, mate. You do what you like.
Yeah, well, I suppose. Okay, it doesn't show me the fucking.
But that is a slight criticism I have of the show. It's not really a criticism. It's just, I guess, another observation. It's just up until the point that his brother shows up, it does feel quite serious. As soon as he's there, there's a real shift in the tone. Of the show. For the better.
I found it's in the maturity ratings on Netflix. Strong bloody violence, necrophilia, very strong language. This program is dark, full of suspense.
It's also brilliant.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed this so much that it was like a real struggle. Like, I like it when I find a show where I'm just sort of like, yeah, cool. But what happens next?
Yeah, completely. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, I sent
like
you
all of the scenes with the kids and stuff as well were brilliant. Where he's
Even
walking around
they're
trying to
good.
find someone to buy heroin.
It's just with the kids. He's like, right, cover your ears. And he goes, which one of you is the baddest motherfucker in it? But that also the caper of it as well. So he tries to set up the one deal. The one deal he had prearranged falls through. So then he wanders around London trying to find someone who'll buy it. Next thing we see, his brother has agreed because he needs some money quickly to pay for his daughter to get into this school. Jean then says, "Okay, fine. Look, I'll get the drugs out of her body. You'll sell them. We split the money 50-50. So okay, cool. Let's do that." As they're taking the drugs out of the body, they literally get the last one out. The original buyers walk in, like, "Hey, we have guns. We're here to nick all your drugs and that." And then halfway through the conversation with them, another pair of people with drugs just wander in, and he was like, "Oh yeah, these are the buyers I was expecting."
But it's just like all of those small interactions between people, they're all just like so entertaining, but like still quite like a who's gonna fucking die? Someone's gonna die.
What was it? There's another line that I've made a note of. I was writing notes as I did this. One of
Fancy.
the original buyers. God knows why he says this. So they're both aiming guns at Jean and Martin, and they're like, "Right, we're gonna nick your drugs." He just for no reason just goes, "Oh, I'm not gay or nothing, but I just don't like killing people unless I have to." What? But yeah. Oh my god, I cannot wait. I'm absolutely going to carry on watching it. In fact, I
So
think
am I.
Once because Lisa's in Spain at the minute. Once she gets back, I'm going to say, right, we've got a new show we've got to start watching.
Watch this.
Yeah, it's so good. So good.
Yeah, and it kind of like it is one of those things that kind of like until I was legit just looking for shows to put with Hustle, and then it like this came up and I was like, yeah, I guess.
We've had a couple of real strong contenders like out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting, because I've not really heard of. I hadn't heard of Channel Zero. I've not heard of Spotless, so that makes it all the more satisfying when they turn out to be amazing.
Yeah, it's one of, I guess, because like, I think it just kind of snuck onto Netflix, and I've seen it a couple of times. But generally, what now I do with like a show that I'm like, oh, that looks pretty good. Right, when's the next gap? Oh, cool, the end of season 4. Cool, that's totally fine. Yeah, yeah, cool. I'll watch it this time next year. Which, like, in part, like sometimes, like then when I find out that they're really good, I'm like, oh man, I could have just watched that fucking time. But then at the same time, it's really nice when you sort of, because this has been like on my like Netflix list for I think about a year, maybe a year and a half. And I've just been like, I could just watch that now and then watch it again before we talk about it. But I'm glad that I didn't, because I would have finished it already. I think they're making a season 2 of it as well.
Sorry, fucking hell. Oh my god, I really freaked myself out there. As I just turned to like face the microphone, and as I looked, the light hit the door in a really strange way, and it looked like there was a person stood next to me. So sorry, I really spooked myself. No, yeah, I really hope they do make a series 2, because, well, I mean, I'm going to get through series 1 first, but if it's as strong as the pilot, oh my god. Cause
and it's nice. It's one of those 10-episode seasons as well.
Yeah, nice and short, and what I saw.
Although there hasn't been a new thing for this. This came out in 2015.
It's 2015. I thought it was 2016. I've got as all the. Oh no! Yeah, between March 16 and 2015. Oh, I mean that's 20. Oh bloody hell! Yeah, no, that's 2 years, isn't it? But it's a because when as the titles were rolling, and I was reading the names of the actors who were in it. So it was like starring Marc-André Grondin, and then Denis Ménochet, and then Miranda Raison. As I said to you, that's a French word as well. I was like, this is a French show, and then I got really excited because I think French filmmaking in general is just better.
Well,
I think they make the best films in the world.
It's Canal Plus, isn't it?
Which is a French
one of the
TV
main people
show.
behind it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think the only stuff
Channels.
I've seen from them is French shit. So I can't think of any right off the top of my head.
I think they might have done. Do you remember, like, when you were still in Southampton, in Milton, I brought around the DVD of that show Spiral.
Maybe.
I wonder if they made that, because that was a French detective thing, wasn't it?
I'm just looking at shows that they've made.
Oh, they produced Mulholland Drive.
I think, didn't they have something to do with Transformers as well? Not Transformers, Transporter.
Very possibly. Actually, that rings a bell.
Because some of that's... Okay, I'm looking at stuff that they've been involved in. They were involved in Spooks.
How I Met Your Mother.
Skins.
They were involved in How I Met Your Mother.
Okay, they're...
Mad Men. God, they've done loads. Drawn Together. Oh, remember that all the way back in series 1? Was that we did?
Yeah.
Drawn Together.
Can't remember. The Office, Game of Thrones.
I wonder if that's...
I'm guessing this is like, stuff that they air.
Yeah, and subtitle, I guess. That's a strong lineup, to be fair. Donkey Kong
I'm
Country.
guessing, yeah, they must have... There must be a different part that... I don't know. But yeah, no, it's really good, regardless of who makes it.
I'm sorry, I've had to turn my fan on because I'm getting slightly warm now. It's not as hot as it's been, but I mean, to be fair, it is already
September.
What's the date today?
It is
it's the
the
3rd of October, actually.
Oh, son of a bitch.
It's very warm for this time of year.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Spotless, this has absolutely been a very, 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 very pleasant surprise. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it far more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, so well, to me, obviously, you've put together the list for this episode and for the series, and I recognise a few, but some of them, like this one, I had no idea what it was. So that makes it, like I say, all the more satisfying when they're brilliant. So well done, you've done a jolly good job, old chap.
Thank you. Thank me, because like fuck, I want to watch the rest of this show.
Yeah, exactly, me too. And like I say, when Lisa gets back, I think I'll start it with her, and even if she don't want to carry on watching it, I'm gonna watch this one.
Yeah, can we just wrap this up now? I've got to go watch this TV show.
Well, we can speed that process up. We can start talking about Hustle if you like.
Yeah, Hustle's great. Cool, I'm done.
Did you fucking? So can I just point out how slick that segue was?
Oh yeah, no.
Immediately, oh, suddenly everyone's like, "What? We're talking about Hustle now?" I didn't even notice.
But Hustle's pretty fucking good.
Hustle is pretty good.
I mean, to be fair, I've been watching it since like. I think I've been through the actual show about 4 or 5 times.
What, the whole thing?
Yeah, because I don't remember it being particularly long seasons. But I don't think there's that many episodes per season, but they're just really easy to watch.
List of Hustle episodes. Yeah, there are only 6 episodes a series, so that's standard for sort of BBC
shows. Yeah.
BBC mid-noughties TV shows.
Yeah, and like it's for what it is. Like it's because also it was. I can't remember if it aired. I think it might have been like the first show to air post Watershed on like some night of the week. I'm gonna say Tuesday.
Yeah, why not?
Like 9 o'clock Tuesday night, maybe.
I
know that it was on before V. Graham Norton.
It aired on the 24th of February 2004, which was a.
That's actually a very good way to find it. A Tuesday.
Was it a Tuesday?
I don't know.
It was a Tuesday.
Was it actually?
Yeah, it was. I sort of grouped in Hustle was like at the time the shows like Merlin and Doctor Who and Robin Hood, that all those sort of stuff, they were all coming out at the same time. I remember, this is the weird thing about Hustle, is I never watched it. I was aware that it was on, and I think a few of my friends watched it. I didn't watch Hustle. What I did watch was they had like an after show called The Real Hustle.
It wasn't an after. It was like a.
Was it a completely separate thing?
It's a completely separate thing where they'd go and do like.
Cons
they basically just do
public.
con, but yeah, it all spawned out of this, because this was popular, and that was like a. I think it was one of the first shows on BBC Three, The Real Hustle. And they would just start talking about like short cons and.
Just for your pub quiz knowledge, do you know what the first show to air on BBC Three was? The very first one. I think I'm right on this.
I have no idea. EastEnders.
I think it was Little Britain. But thinking about it, do you remember? Because BBC Three, like, it only started airing at 7:00 in the evening, didn't it? Was it 9:00?
Yeah, no, it was weird. It doesn't air anymore at all, though.
No, it's online only, isn't it? It's a show. I really liked BBC Three because it was a real staple of, growing up. When I used to go and have sleepovers with my mates and stuff, it was always BBC Three was what we watched because there was mental shit on BBC Three.
Well, yeah, it was all of like The Real Hustle was on it from 2006, so a couple years after this came out. But I had Olympic stuff on it as well. It was. Yeah, I really liked BBC Three, but yeah.
Anyway,
they're
Hustle.
still making stuff. It's just online.
Yeah. So Hustle. On you go. This is your one.
To be fair, I picked both of them, so you know.
Well, this is the one you champion anyway.
That's because it's awesome. So it all centers around Mickey and his gang of con artists who, despite the fact that no one does a long con anymore, that's literally all they do. They do short cons to support it, but
yeah,
for the most part they pick someone who's a bit of a cunt. That's for the most part. They don't pick on like your nan. They go for like some businessman who's a bit of a perv and like basically someone who's open to just doing something dodgy to the point that they won't want to admit that that's what they were doing.
It goes with the then they even do it in the actual shows. They say if you want to really know how a CEO treats his staff, watch how he treats a waiter. And they literally do that, because there's a point where the Mark is at a bar and he says, I'm not giving you a tip, that service was rubbish.
Yeah, I think their main like catchphrase throughout the whole show is "You can't con an honest man."
Yeah. So it's almost
which
like
I think is a bit sexist, but you know.
Or a woman.
You can con an honest woman, just not an honest man.
It's basically just saying like, oh yeah, we know we're bastards, but they're bigger bastards.
Yeah, I think they almost try to give it like an air of that Robin Hood sort of vibe, but then they're just like, we steal from the rich and it's us.
And then keep it.
But I think what I liked about this is that it had that first like 5 minutes just goes through introducing everyone. Like you meet Ash, Three Sock, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, to be fair, I just accepted that his nickname was Three Socks, but they'd never really, as far as I was aware, never explained. They explained it in the first episode, and I just wasn't paying attention.
Perhaps you didn't get it. Because hang on, how old?
Maybe I've seen this like 4 times.
When did this air?
I was 13 when this first aired.
You weren't. You were 23, because we all know you take 10 years off your age because you're old as fuck. But
yep.
Also, like I think I was vaguely aware that Adrian Lester and Mark Warren were both in the show, and I absolutely loved the both of them.
This was the first thing that I'd seen either of them in.
Really, I when I first see Mark Warren in? Do you know what, it probably was Green Street, which is a bit unfortunate. Or maybe no, it would have been Doctor Who, because he was in an episode of Doctor Who. He played Elton Pope, Love and Monsters. Yeah. He was the. Do you remember there's that episode of Doctor Who?
The guy who gets stuck in the ground.
That rings a bell. Stuck in the ground.
Yeah, his face is like on some concrete.
Yes. Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, and then because I remember that it was that Christmas. I think it was that Christmas, but that was just as I was starting to get in, like really seriously get into scary shit and like monsters and stuff. And that Christmas we were in Cornwall, and I saw a copy of the Radio Times because the one time me and my parents buy it, and it was a big picture of Mark Warren on the front, and he was playing Dracula, and there was a TV movie of Dracula that I still haven't seen, but I always wanted to.
He's in a new thing.
I like him. Yeah, Safe. That Safe show.
No, I'm thinking Snatch.
Oh yeah, I've not seen that.
Neither have I. I'm interested.
Wait, it's an American crime comedy drama.
Yeah, I know.
American?
Really... Yeah, it's still directed by Guy Ritchie though.
Rupert Grint. That's got to be a bit odd, isn't it? If you're Guy Ritchie and you make a film, and then they're like, "Hey, do you want to make a TV show about that film you did a few years ago?" That's a bit weird.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't be the first thing.
It's been redone.
Yeah. But yeah, both of those things that you mentioned Mark Warren have been in were after Hustle.
Yeah. But
so I fucking saw him first.
He's so natural, though. Do you know what I mean? Like when he has an interaction, you completely believe it. It's like there's no sort of filter of okay, he's an actor who's learned the script that's done this. He just does it. He just reacts. He's like Andrew Lincoln does the same thing in The Walking Dead. He just is Rick.
Yeah, what I like is that it just doesn't feel forced. Or like, because he was in Mad Dogs?
Mad Dogs, yeah. God, that was a funny show. I like that.
Yeah, it's the same sort of role, really, where it's just a bit of just like a cheeky chappy, like bit of an idiot, but like ultimately kind of alright, and a con man. But yeah, no, because I think the implication is that everyone else knows each other, like Mickey, Stacy, Ash, and Albert. They all know each other. And then Danny's just like, I would like to be in your friendship group, please.
I want to be in your gang.
Yeah, and then so he essentially just he does the pacing outside the door, and he's like, how do I introduce myself? And then he does, and they're just like, nah, we're good. We don't need you. But no, and then it goes through the whole like con thing, which I just really like. The thing is, because every episode is, I'm not gonna lie, pretty similar to that. Apart from they don't introduce the characters every time.
Yeah.
But they have here's the mark, here's the setup, here's the thing, and then it's like here's the end.
Do they always have that fourth wall break? Because there's a very
not all the time. Sometimes
I found all the fourth wall breaks quite jarring. It's particularly the one where they're all sat around a mate whose money they're nicking, and like time freezes as he's pouring the coffee, and they'll just get up and start doing this weird sort of shared. It's almost like a shared monologue because they're all saying the same thing. It's just coming from different acts. It just felt a bit.
Yeah, that's not like an all the time thing. It's sometimes. I think. Sometimes they do it where they sort of go. They get to the end and it's like how did they, and then they like pull back and like explain like various steps.
Yeah. I mean, I sort of, knowing the nature of the show, as soon as they said, "Oh, this is the new police chap," I was like, suspicious already. So
yeah, no, I was
and when Mickey gets shot right at the end, I was like, okay, well, that's not how this happens, is it? Because he's in a lot more of the promotion campaign than to be in just the pilot episode.
Yeah, I did kind of like the fact that Danny's reaction after was like, "But you shot me," and he's like, "Yeah, but I missed," and it was like, I don't think that's really the point, mate.
Yeah, you're right. He does sort of just, he lets it go like, oh, yeah, no, that's fair, I suppose. But I really enjoyed it. I did enjoy it a lot more than I thought. I got to be honest, I thought getting through Hustle was going to be a bit of a slog, because that sort of, I don't know.
Because there is a bit of a formula there, to be fair. It's like, we're doing a crime. Yeah. This is how we did the crime.
Yeah.
But I think because it adds like some of the smaller like character interaction, like when Danny is distracting the receptionist, like there's just those really fun little like character moments where you're like, oh, no one else would have done that.
I'm not sure how I felt about that part. That's the one part I was like, oh, hang on a minute, because he literally, he does basically just assault a woman just for the sake of a distraction.
Yeah, but you know, she looked fine with it afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's problematic. So I think realistically, if that was any woman that we know, would probably be like, I'm fucking having none of this.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And give him a slap rather than be like, oh, what a chancer. Oh, he's so rebellious, I like him. I just thought it was a bit...
Do you know who he kind of reminds me of, Danny? Barney.
Yeah. No, I can see that. He's the British equivalent of Barney Stinson. I'll take that.
Yeah. It's really weird, because I watched Hustle in between, like, just marathoning How I Met Your Mother.
I've realised that watching How I Met Your Mother makes me incredibly sad now, because it just reminds me of everyone at uni, and then I'm like, oh, I haven't seen them for a bit.
Oh, mate, when I've been watching through it, and there's just, like, random little, like, scenes where, like, there's a scene where Ted just goes, like, oh, no, do you know what I do right now? And then he, like, runs to his future wife's apartment, and I'm just like, first time I saw that, I was like, why? Like, oh, just because you want to start that relationship now. And then I was just like, oh, wait, yeah. And then I watched it again, I was like, oh, wait, no, yeah, she dies, doesn't she?
Oh, don't do... Oh, for fuck...
And then there's, like, a couple episodes from the end, he's just like, they're saying, like, talking about Robin's mum turning up, and he's just like, oh, what kind of mother... She says, like, oh, what kind of mother would miss her own daughter's wedding? And then, like, Ted just sat there crying, and was like, why are you crying? It's not like... And then I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, she dies, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, just little things that, like, seed these, like, further on.
In fairness, I'll say that I won't go too far into detail. I think in that show, the ending for Ted is shit, but the ending for Barney is perfect.
Yeah. Oh, they fully should have just lopped off the end, like the last sort of when he starts talking to his kids again, and he's like, that's how I met your mother, that's end. Which I think some of the DVDs have that end as like a, you can have this end or this end.
Well, the trouble is that it so clearly is them angling for it to be about how actually he, you know, how he and Robin's relationship develops. So that's why I never believed in Robin and Barney getting together. So even less did I believe in them getting married. So the whole last series for me, I was just like, this is just it's just crap. It just doesn't make sense.
There's a great bit at the end where, like, Ted's saying, like, it's been a really long weekend, because it's been like 2 days that have covered like 24 episodes. I'm just like, that has been a long weekend.
Yeah.
But
in the end, I suppose we should all be glad that he admits how he feels and has felt for the past number of years.
So, Hustle.
Yeah, no, I did really like it, to be fair.
Yeah. What's good is it does sort of that thing that Spooks does, where they change out some of the characters.
Oh, really?
Later on.
So it doesn't
Yeah,
stay
there are some, like, characters that I think are always around. I think Stacey and Danny go off at some point, and they're replaced with a couple of new characters. It's Matt D'Angelo and Kelly Adams who replace them. So and they're like younger, like brother and sister. Like, oh, we do short cons. They're basically Danny but split into two characters.
Okay.
But also have different and interesting like storylines. I think there are some longer character arcs and stuff, but mostly episode by episode is a new con every episode.
Can we just take a minute to discuss Stroller?
Yeah, I like him. He's one of my favourite characters.
He is played by a man who has been directed by Cecil B. DeMille, who was in the fucking Magnificent Seven. And I just... That's mad.
Have you seen his filmography?
It's ridiculous. I had a quick flick through it. Also, something I also noticed, the word spy appears a lot in the films he's been in. But
I like that one of his credits recently is just silver-haired man.
Oh god, that's sort of tragic though, for someone who's been in fucking, you know, the Magnificent Seven. Jesus Christ, I couldn't believe it.
He was in Superman 3, so, you know, a little bit of respect lost.
He's in the fucking Towering Inferno. He's in Bullet. He's in fucking everything. He's in the Ten Commandments. He's in the Ten Commandments. That's ridiculous.
It's a long career. How old is he?
He's sort of dead, but...
Oh.
He died in 2016. He was 83.
So one of his last credits is Silverhead Man.
Yeah.
But then that's a long career as well.
Hugely. But yeah.
And like the pinnacle of it was really Hustle.
Yeah, but it's probably, probably better than being in the Magnificent Seven and the Ten Commandments. Yeah, I probably would say Hustle.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be fair, in this, he gets to play... He plays, like, a real juxtaposition to everyone else, because he's, like... He gets to just be, like, this kind of, like, play like a doddery old man, and just be like, you should con him. But then he still gets, like, his moments of, like... Him doing, like, little cons, and... There's, like, a real... With, like, you know when Danny's in the bar, and he... cons a drink out of Eddie the barman.
Yeah, he plays fucking Find the Lady.
Yeah, well no, like those little like bar like cons become like a real like staple of the show, because that's like their bar. They go there and they plan shit in public because, you know, they're fucking rad.
Yeah.
And then so that becomes like a long-standing sort of trope of the show that they don't really pay for drinks ever.
I mean, if you can, I suppose it shows they're good at their job.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. If they ever get found out, they go, "No, sorry, you're paying for that drink." It's like, right, you're out the crew.
Yeah. Maybe it's like an audition process. But yeah, I actually kind of want to watch it all again now.
It's funny how often we do an episode on something that you've already watched, and then you go away saying, "Yeah, no, I'm going to watch that again."
It's because a lot of the times I put things that I've already seen on here because I'm like, I really enjoyed this. I want to see if other people enjoy it too.
Yeah, that's why we do this, you know.
And because we need an excuse to watch TV shows.
To watch Gilmore Girls.
Oh man, I might start watching that again. Just hearing the name, I'm like, oh yeah, and also because Richard from Gilmore Girls turned up in How I Met Your Mother towards the end. I was like, fuck yeah. And then like in the same episode he turns up, he dies, and I was like, oh fuck.
Not again.
Yeah, and now I just kind of want to watch Gilmore Girls again.
Do you know, in 2 weeks' time, when we do our next episode, it will have been 1 day shy of a year that the Gilmore Girls episode came out.
Yeah, I know, it's really annoying because we're never going to have anniversaries because the dates will change slightly every year.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so I think that just about covers it for Hustle and Spotless.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to carry on watching Spotless. I'm not sure about Hustle. Because I don't know, I feel like I just missed the boat slightly. I do wish I had watched it when I was, when it was airing 12 years ago.
Yeah. I guess if it turns up on something like Netflix or something, it'll be a lot easier to watch.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm half considering just buying the box set, just because I kind of want it. But it's like 70 quid or something, 60, 70 quid. And I'm like, don't like it that much.
So next week, sorry, not next week, in 2 weeks' time, our next episode. I don't know what either of these shows are.
Well, we're doing Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which...
That's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I've already watched season 1 and I love it so much. It's Elijah Wood and someone else whose name escapes me.
Okay. You know, Elijah Wood is like a massive horror fan.
Yeah?
It's because of him. He did an interview on a podcast once, and he mentioned an app called Shudder, which actually I think I still pay for, but it's basically Netflix for horror movies. It's wicked.
That's pretty cool. And Frequency, I have no idea.
Okay, cool. It could be another Supernatural, Spotless, Channel Zero masterpiece.
It could be. A detective seizes a precious opportunity to change the past when she finds she can communicate with its deceased estranged father via a time warp. That sounds kind of interesting.
Okay.
Oh, it's got Mekhi Phifer in it.
Oh, this is Mekhi Phifer. This is my life, and the times are so hard.
Ah, that's made me like the show already.
Because he was in 8 Mile.
No, because he was in that weird Torchwood thing where he became immortal.
No, it's because he was in the 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead and he shoots a zombie baby.
I think maybe it's just because Mekhi Phifer's kind of awesome.
Maybe it is also, just because he's in Lose Yourself. And
he's in 8 Mile, yeah, mostly he was in 8 Mile. Did you know he was in 8 Mile?
I didn't. Anyway, so yeah.
So was General Zod, so whatever.
Yeah, that's fucking weird, isn't it?
And fucking Angry Falcon. Red Falcon. Falcon.
God. Do you know what? It's
Papa Doc.
It surprises me every time I realise that fucking Papa Doc is an Avenger.
Yeah. Papa Doc's and B Rabbit's careers went in very different directions. But yes, I'm looking forward to that because I kind of want to watch Dirk Gently again because I really enjoyed it.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it now that you seem this excited about it.
Well, I'm excited about Frequency because Mekhi Phifer, so
Wasn't
but
he
also Elijah.
He was in that film, wasn't he?
He's been in a film.
Was that 8 Mile, wasn't it? Yeah, 8 Mile.
Yeah, with Falcon from the Avengers. And
Chitterbar
from Funny People, where he had a cameo.
He did. That film was about an hour too long.
Yeah, there's a real big chunk in the middle they really didn't need.
Yeah, there's a really good 90-minute film in there somewhere, except if you took out Adam. But also, maybe Adam Sandler. I hate Adam Sandler, but maybe that's the one thing that I can watch him in.
Yeah. I don't know why I watched it.
I watched it around yours. You watched it once, and then I came round, and then you were like, "Yeah, we're gonna stick this on." And then 3 hours later, it finished.
I feel like it's not actually a 3-hour film.
No, I think it's 2.5. Is it 2.5 or is it 2? Yeah. Anyway, it feels an hour longer than it should be. But we're digressing slightly off of this podcast.
Oh yeah, cool. I'm just gonna click stop now.
All right, bye.